Investigation unfolds. There are two different accounts. Joining me now is Dorian Johnson, the young man who was with Michael Brown, and his attorney, Freeman Bosley Jr. Thank you both for being here.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Dorian, you say the officer attacked Michael. What do you think when you hear the police say it was the other way around?
I knew as soon as I heard it that is not what happened. And I knew that I was standing so close and seeing everything so vivid that I know exactly what happened. I knew that was incorrect at the moment I heard it.
How fast did all this happen?
It really escalated quickly. It was really less than a minute or so before it escalated to death.
Now, where did it start? I mean, how did this start?
We were walking down the street. At the time, there was no traffic coming. The street was clear. We were walking down the street in the middle of the street. And before the officer pulls up, the traffic starts to flow. No cars blowing their horn at us like we're in their way, or they're making odd turns like they got to get out of our way or anything like that. So we didn't feel like we was causing a problem to anyone, and we kept walking. So a little bit later, we see the police officer coming, and when he gets to the side of us, right on the side where we right at his driver door, he tells us to get on the sidewalk in a real aggressive manner. I don't want to cuss on camera, but he tells us to get on the sidewalk, get the F on the sidewalk. And at that time, my friend Big Mike didn't speak at all. I responded to the officer. I said, "Officer, we're less than a minute away from our destination. We just walk in and we'll be out of the way." And we continue to walk because I was under the impression that the officer, he was finna drive off. But then we hear the car stop, and we hear it reverse, but it reversed very rapidly. Like he stopped on the gas pedal fast, and he reversed in a manner where we had to kind of jump out the way, not really jump, but trying to step back out the way, or he was gonna hit us. And now his car is slanted, and we're back face to face with him at his driver door. And
now you said Michael's hands. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mike's hands are filled with cigarillos because we have cigarillos in our hands. So his hands are filled. His hands are not free. His hands are filled. At that time, when the officer pulled up on us, he was so close to us, and he tried to push his door open so aggressively. Now, my friend Big Mike, he's a real big guy. I'm not that big, but he's real big, and we're standing so close to each other that when he pushed the door open, it didn't get a full inch out, and it hit us and bounced back on him. And it's almost in an instant, his arm came out the window and grabbed my friend around the neck.
You said that the door hit him, and then the door bounced back?
Yes, the door ricocheted off our bodies, not that like we had our hands up, because we didn't know we wasn't ready for the speed that he opened his door. So it wasn't like we braced ourselves. It almost knocked the wind out of me, but he's so big that it slightly tapped me, it mortally hit him, and it really bounced back on the officer.
And then the incident happened.
Yeah, after the door bounced back on him, like I said, it's almost in an instant. His left arm comes out the window. He's grabbing. He didn't at no point in time try to get back out the car or open back the door. He just stuck his left arm out the window and grabbed my friend around the throat. And now my friend, he's angry. He has a frowny face, but my friend is not an aggressive person, so he's not trying to go with the officer. He's pulling away from the officer, and the officer is pulling him in the vehicle like he's trying to pull him through the window. And he's so big, he couldn't pull his body down into the window, so it was more like his body was coming into the window while the officer was pulling on him. And while they was pulling, he managed to turn around, get loose the officer's grip from his neck, and now the officer's trying to still maintain his hold and grip on him. So now he's grabbing on his shirt and his arm, still with his one arm, his left arm. He's trying to grab any grip he can on my friend, and he's turning around. Now, at this moment, he hands me the cigarillos, like, he says to me, hold these, and I grab them out of his hands, and I'm still standing in the door right while they're doing all of this tugging and pulling, not wrestling, as they say. It was more like tug and pull, because he's trying to pull Big Mike, my friend, and my friend's trying to pull away, because we really don't understand the manner the officer is addressing us. And at that time, I heard the officer saying, "I'ma shoot." And when he says, "I'ma shoot," my eyes addressed to him because I wanted to see what he was going to fire. And I know what a taser looks like, a taser gun looks like, and I know what a regular gun looks like. And when I looked at the officer, I was staring dead in front of the barrel. And almost a second later, the gun went off. If I didn't move of hesitation before the gun went off, I could have been shot as well as my friend, but I moved a second earlier than the gun going off. And the bullet did strike my friend. He was never inside the car when the bullet struck him, because we was at this moment when he pointed the gun at us, it kind of stood us back like he has a gun pointing at us for no reason. And he still has his hand on my friend Mike the whole time. He never let his grip go with his left hand, but now he's pointed his weapon at us in a threatening manner. At no time of the altercation did my friend Big Mike make a verbal threat at the officer. No time did I make a movement or gesture like I was going to jump in the altercation. No time that I felt like the officer's life was really in that much danger for him to pull out the gun first before any other weapon that he had to stop what was going on. So after the first shot went off, I stepped back and I look at my friend and I see the blood coming down his right arm. So I know that he was hit. And when I see him, my eyes get big. He looked at me because he didn't even look at himself, because he in shock. We both in shock from hearing a gun so close that he looking at me and I'm looking at him, and he see my eyes get big. And the officer let go. And that's how we were both able to run at the same time, because it's almost like the officer didn't mean to shoot him, but he was trying to stop us from committing no crime at all. I don't know what we were doing for him to pull out his gun, but when he shot, he let my friend go, and we took off running. Now, at this time for the first shot takeoff, his vehicle is parked at a way that both lanes are taken up. No cars can get past, north or south. It's 3 vehicles parked right in front of the scene. As we're running, I step behind the first vehicle and stoop slightly. I could tell the officer was in shock, because it took him at least 2 or 3 minutes before he initially got out the car after the first shot. It was almost like he had to make a judgment call or think about what he had just done or just saw. And while I'm stooped down behind the vehicle, my friend Big Mike's run past me. He sees me in plain sight. He looks down at me and say, "Keep running, bro," verbatim in his exact words. And he's still running. I'm still in shock, so my body, I can't move, but my mind is trying to run, but my body can't move. By this time, the officer is out the car now, and I'm standing up now, and the officer is walking with his gun drawn, but it's almost like he couldn't see me, because I'm just standing right, it's still in plain sight, but he's walking in such a way that his vision wasn't even on nobody else but what he was trying to do. And as he got closer, he fired one more shot. That shot struck my friend in the back. He then stopped what he was going and stopped to turn around with his hands in the air and started to tell the officer that he was unarmed, and he was not. And before he can get his last words out, the officer then fired several more shots, and my friend went down in a fatal position, and that's when I took off running.